Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the New Jersey Titans Coaches Corner. I'm Tom Willms, joined again by Craig Doremus. Craig, thanks so much for taking the time.
Appreciate you having me.
Now, you have a bus ride coming up, so we'll try to get through this for you. Congratulations on still a great run. A successful weekend last week, 2-game sweep against Danbury. We'll start off with Friday, the 6-3 win, but unfortunately a little bit under the weather. But much like when a top scorer can't make it to the game, you got guys need to step up. So Bobby DeRico, Kyle Shapiro, stepping up big time. How great does it feel to get those guys picking up a win?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy for those guys. I mean, I've said all along. I think I'm fortunate enough to be with what I feel is the best staff in the league. These guys do a tremendous job day in and day out with our hockey team. There was literally no hesitation or fear for me going into it. They're involved heavily in the day-to-day preparations and working with the team. I'd argue at times they do a hell of a lot more than I do even. I had complete confidence in those guys, and I think, like you said, similar to kind of what we've gone through here, even with a team, next man up mentality. And I think those two guys stepped up, did a great job of managing the game, and obviously able to come out there with a win. And as the head coach, you sit back and watch and evaluate. And I think what I liked the most was they found a way to win even when we didn't have our best game. And I think that's a lot of credit to those guys. There was no panic in our game. There was conviction throughout. And I thought able to pull out the win there late. I was happy for them, really proud of them, and happy for those guys.
Now, were you able to enjoy the game as a fan, or are you still kind of coaching, looking at things? I mean, you were watching obviously on Hockey TV.
Yeah, it was an interesting perspective actually, watching your own team play on Hockey TV live. It's something that, fortunately, I haven't had to do much. The interesting part was battling my children as they wanted to watch the game and comment on how the team was doing, and I was joking with the guys that when we scored the game-winning goal, I yelled out in celebration. My wife was angry because she thought it woke up my youngest son. So different perspective, but yeah, and I didn't. We communicated briefly during the game. We communicated quickly after the game, just on some comments, and I wanted to see if what I saw on video is what they felt in person, and some of it was and some of it wasn't. So again, it was good perspective. I think anytime you can sit back and learn and see the game through a different lens, you got to take some positive from it. And for me, I was able to watch, like you said, somewhat of a fan point of view, and took some coaching stuff with it, and we took that into Saturday, and the guys did a great job of getting the team adjusted and some corrections for Saturday. So again, good experience, and obviously getting the win makes it that much easier to stomach.
Now, onto the game itself, Brendan Dumas led the way with a couple of goals and an assist. Tommy Bannister, goal and 4 assists. Anthony Calafiore, 4 assists. In fact, all 6 goals had two assists attached. Now, what does that say about the team's offensive performance? Everybody buying it.
Yeah, and I think it's part of how we want to play, right? We want to make sure we're playing fast. We want to make sure we're distributing the puck and playing with deception in our offensive game, and it's something that we've been preaching here for a couple months now. And anytime you see it get enacted there and put to work during the game, it's fulfilling as a coach. And I think it's fulfilling for the players. They see the rewards and the benefits of doing the things that we're preaching and working on habitually day to day. So I think it speaks to the unselfishness of the players, which is a credit to them, and our ability to move the puck and make plays in the offensive zone, which is kind of the fabric of who and what we are, and it always has been, and it always will be. So happy to see those type of plays be made to lead the offense.
Ben Sharrett picked up the win in goal, 27 saves. Now, when the season first started, goaltending was a bit of a question mark. He had a number of guys in camp. Now, with the acquisition of Andrew Takis and Ben's resurgence, how key is that moving through the season to have 2 guys you can really count on to step up between the pipes?
Yeah, I think it's been great. I think it's been really cool to see those guys come together as a tandem. And work for each other, and they know they're competing with each other for playing time, and that's no different than any other team. But they've really fed off each other. I think they've been a good support and kind of yin and yang towards each other. Each guy is so different in terms of their personality and who they are and what they are, but I think they've learned from each other, and to see them come in here and compete daily, and it's important for a team, right? You have to have a goaltender on any given day who's going to give your team a chance to win. And right now we're getting strong, consistent goaltending from both. It's enhanced our team. It's risen the standard for our hockey club here. And I don't think it's any coincidence that our success has come as we solidified that position from the back end out.
Well, on to Saturday, a back-and-forth 5-4 win. It was a fun battle to watch. Down 2-1, up 3-2, down 4-3, and finally the game winner. Last 5 minutes, Nick Ring. So probably not the best for the blood pressure, but certainly the kind of wins that show the character of this team.
Correct, and I think a lot of the credit goes to Danbury. I thought they came out, they competed really hard. Coach made some adjustments throughout the game and throughout the weekend, and I thought it showed well for them. And I think again for our team, I said to the guys between 2 and 3, I'd much rather be up 5 or 6-1 right now. Like you said, mentioned, it's a little bit easier on the blood pressure at that point. But nevertheless, I think it's important for your team, and it'll sound cliche, but I think you have to find ways to win different games. And for us right now, that's been so important for us is throughout the maturation process with our team, and what I would say is an inexperienced roster, despite the age, is finding ways to win different ways. And that's where we're at right now. We're finding different ways to come out on top, whether it's a pull-away victory, a tight victory, a defensive challenge, an offensive run and gun game. We're finding different ways. And what I like is the lack of panic that comes with it. And I think for our team, that's a large credit to the veteran guys who are here, the leadership group, and kind of our confidence and our swagger right now. I think that's important for us, and right now we have it. With that being said, no dissimilar to any other weekend. We let it go on Saturday night, enjoyed the win, and we began preparation for a very good, hardworking Jamestown team right away.
Another big performance from Anthony Calafiore. It seems like every single game he just steps up in multi-point games. On Saturday, a goal and a couple assists. Give me an idea of how his game has grown since the beginning.
I mean, he's a kid who's just, I think, again, attributed to having a year of experience in the league, having more confidence and conviction in what he is and who he is as a player. Obviously, his line is playing extremely well, and they're sharing the puck amongst themselves. They've been lethal almost on a shift-to-shift basis. And Anthony's game's just continuing to come and grow. What I enjoy the most is his passion and drive to continue to improve. I don't think there's any type of content in his game. He wants to be even better. He wants more. And that goes for his line mates as well. They push each other on a day-to-day basis to be the very best versions of themselves. And it's been fun. And these guys are fun to work with. They want to get better. They're passionate about their craft. And they're driven. They're extremely driven. They want to win. They want to see this franchise be successful. And I think it's funny how it's worked out as obviously they've had their own personal success and accolades. Obviously, it's attributed to a lot of wins along the way. So they're great kids. They're great teammates. They embody what we want in Titans. And I couldn't be more happy for Anthony and his line mates right now.
Levente Karasesh, he added a goal and an assist. One thing I've noticed about his time with the Titans is he's done a great job of using his size. On the power play, his big presence in the middle, and in the corners of the ice, he's not afraid to get dirty. Is that a major asset for you, both offensively and defensively?
Yeah, it definitely is. And like you said, you can't teach his size, right? You got a 6'5" frame with a huge reach and a hockey IQ that is somewhat through the roof. And I think Levy's learning how to use that. I think last year was a good learning experience. So he learned how to play with his size and use his edge to create time and space for himself and his teammates. And he really worked on his 200-foot game last year. And as it's come into this year, I know him and his line mates have been frustrated at times with the lack of production, but I think their play has continually improved throughout. So you see them guys get rewarded there. You mentioned Levy there, and obviously Ringer gets a big goal there, and I think Coleman's been a good complement to those players. So I'm proud of those guys. They've worked hard. I know it's been frustrating for them. They want to produce. They want to score. They want to help this team win. So to see them respond like that, and we called them out, on Saturday about that, and they responded, and they couldn't have responded any better. Huge points of the game there in the third period, and a lot of the success and win is attributed to their play in the third period. Now,
as with most teams, there's a focus on the present, but there's also the eye towards the future. So this week, our first tender of the year, out of Northwood Prep, Brady Hildreth. What did you see from him that made him a potential fit for the New Jersey Titans?
I think the biggest thing is Kyle and the staff identified Brady last year, and they right away he jumped off the sheet, and that happens a lot. Then you got to start really tracking guys and following their progress and their development and their growth, right, throughout minor hockey, midget hockey, whatever you call it. And that's what we did. We followed Brady throughout. He came back this summer, attended our camps, put on strong performances. Was probably pretty close to making the team this year. We wanted to support him in returning to Northwood to complete his education and, quite frankly, his commitment to that team. And Brady, was on board with that, so he went through with it. We stayed in touch, followed him throughout this year, and we've made sure to go out and watch him both on video and live this year, and he's continued his strong play with that. I think he fits the mold of what we want a Titan to be on ice in terms of how he plays and his dedication to getting better, and who he represents off the ice well in terms of who he is as a person and how he represents his family. So couldn't be more happy to get him. It was a big ad for us, someone we had targeted now for probably well over a year. And to see it finally come to fruition here is something we've been looking forward to. And I think anytime you offer that tender as you await the response, it's always there's an excitement there, there's a nervous energy, and to get his commitment to our program next year is something that we're really excited about.
Before we move on to this weekend's action, there's always a strong connection here at the New Jersey Titans and veterans. We're recording this on Veterans Day. And again, there's also that strong connection between the Titans and sending guys to Army. Yep. So I'm sure that you have some a couple of words for veterans. Again, it's just such an important part of our society here in this country, and again, an important part of the fabric here. Of the
No, it is. It is. It's definitely important to our program and our organization. I think we represent in our building the flags proudly and what that stands for. And you know, I think it's probably cliche, but I think thank you is the best way to do it. I don't know if that's said enough. I can only speak to my own personal beliefs, and I know whenever I see somebody from the armed services in public, I always try to make sure I pick up their coffee or their tab at store, or at least say thank you. And if you see them in an airport or anywhere else, you try to let them get in front of you online, because it's the least you could do for everything they do for us. And when you talk about the people that have paid the ultimate sacrifice to allow us the lifestyle that we have now, I think too often in life it's forgotten about, and it's convenient, right? It's you don't realize it, you don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. I think it's important for everyone to sit back and reflect and realize how lucky we are to have the privileges we have every day, and not only here at the hockey rink, but I think in everyday life. So for us with the Titans, it's definitely something we've taken pride in. Like you had mentioned, we have strong military connections here throughout our program, both from a veteran standpoint, and you know, we have people serving right now who have worn our flag, and we couldn't be more proud to say that they were part of our family, and they continue to be now and moving forward. So thank you to everyone for what they do, continue to do, and have done in the past, and know that we're big supporters, and we always will be.
Definitely echoed for myself, and with my father being a veteran as well. So again, certainly do appreciate all the work that veterans do for us here in this country. As we move on to this weekend, you're about to depart for Western New York, a nice 7-hour jaunt across Pennsylvania, and you take on the Jamestown Rebels. You saw them last in late September. What can you recall about them that you learned from them that you're bringing into this weekend?
Yeah, I think, you know, an attribute and a quality of their team has been, you know, the team's always going to be well coached and prepared to play. Joe's done a great job with his staff there. Ever since I've come into the league, you know what you're getting. If you're not prepared to play and play hard and compete, you're not going to have a chance to be successful there, whether it's at home, on the road, at a neutral site. They are trained well, they are hungry, they work, they compete for every inch of ice, and you have to make sure that you have it strapped on and ready to go just to give yourself a chance. So that's a credit to Joe and his staff. That's been a consistent there since day one whenever I've played the Rebels. So I think we had a good week of preparation. Obviously, we did our pre-scout on homework, as I'm sure they did. Now it comes down to going out there and executing and not making too many errors. Obviously, on the road, you want to make sure you're managing the ice and managing the puck. And it's different, you know, conditions. It's a hostile environment. You go into a different building. I think what's great is, like you mentioned, we have guys who are now familiar with the building and the atmosphere there, and the different challenges that come with each building. So we'll get in there. Travel day today, nice light day. We'll enjoy some downtime and some relaxed time, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow. I'm confident in our group. I like where we are. And like you said, having the experience of gone there and been through two really tough battles, I think will serve us well.
So it's a two-game set this weekend up in Jamestown, rather. Friday, Saturday, both at 7 p.m. on Hockey TV. Craig, thanks so much for taking the time, and have a safe trip.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Happy Veterans Day to all.
Well, my name's Tom Willms. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of the New Jersey Titans Coach's Corner, and we will see you real soon.